Alright, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to talk about 11 habits that will drastically improve your life in the next 6 months. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I say the phrase, you can change your life in 6 months all the time. And oftentimes that separates my audience because some people think that that's ridiculous. Other people actually believe that and understand that, as they should. And I think what separates the people that do and the ones that don't is whether or not they understand what it actually takes to actually change your life in 6 months' time. Most people get caught in the rat race and get caught in this endless cycle of lack of improvement or no improvement at all, simply because they're focusing on the wrong things. They're not focusing on the things that will actually move levers and actually change your life. Myself included, I fell into this trap for a very long time. I was constantly filled with busy work, doing the wrong things, avoiding what I know or knew that I needed to do. Since then, I've really feel confident that I've identified the things that really move you forward and will actually change your life in 6 months. And I want to talk about them today. I have a list of 11 of them. Some of them are more habits. Some of them are more just lifestyle changes. And they are in no particular order. All these things can be done and have equal importance with one another. So let's just kind of jump right into it. The first thing is scheduled tasks. And what I mean by scheduled tasks is actually scheduling time in your calendar to accomplish tasks and activities and doing things that actually need to be done and will move you forward. Some people call it task blocking, time blocking, scheduling just deep work sessions, uninterrupted time to do the things that you know you need to do. It's very easy when you just have a simple to-do list to push it off until tomorrow. If you have a list of 10 things to do, 3 of them are vital for you to do. It's very easy to choose to do these 7 other things before you do the 3 good things, and those are important things, and those things tend to get pushed off into the inevitable future. But when you actually schedule those things into your calendar, whether it's time blocking 4 hours of deep work with only the high priority tasks, or literally scheduling the high priority task into your calendar, actually scheduling the time to accomplish the important actions and activities in your business or in your life in general will drastically improve and shorten the window that it takes for you to get the results that you want. The second thing is going outside in the morning. This is a silly thing, but since I've moved to my new apartment and I now have to actually let my dog outside and go on walks with her when she needs to go outside, I began to go outside more, specifically in the morning, right after I wake up. And I've realized that this has had a huge impact on how I start my day and how my day ends up playing out. It's very easy to tell when I have the days where I wake up and go outside for a walk right away and do some sort of activity outside versus the days where I just roll out of bed, check my phone, and get to work right away. I know some people might have the luxury to do that, but if you can find the time in your day or in your morning to just go outside and go for a 10-minute walk and get some sunlight, you'll be amazed with how much it improves your life and sets your day up for success simply by starting your day off with sunshine and some physical activity. It doesn't have to be a walk. It can be a run or a bike ride or even just a workout. The idea here is that you're getting up and you're moving first thing in the morning. The third thing is to create something daily. It's very easy to get into routines of doing something and figuring it out and doing it again and again and again. And what was once a creative endeavor quickly becomes routine, and you get used to it and you don't start challenging yourself. So I challenge you to create something every single day, to exercise the muscle that is creativity. That doesn't necessarily mean making a video or shooting a photo. It could mean writing, it could mean journaling, it could mean solving a problem in your personal life. Like creativity isn't just what is traditionally known as creativity. So challenging yourself every single day and practicing using that creative muscle will help you be more creative in all aspects of your life and just become a more valuable, better, happier person. The fifth thing is to start questioning beliefs. I'm from a small town where most people just grow up, they go to college, they get a job, and they move back. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when that's all you see, that's all you tend to believe is possible. And chances are that you have your own limiting beliefs, things that you tell yourself simply because you were told them when you were younger. So if you want to start a business, or if you want to get in really good shape or do anything crazy and there's a voice in your head telling you that you can't, chances are it's just a lie that you tell yourself, or a belief that you have that isn't even in your own belief, and was just downloaded or given to you when you're a kid. So a habit to get into is just start questioning your beliefs. When you have an idea, say for a business, and you're excited for it, but then there's a voice in your head that tells you it's crazy, it's stupid, you can't do it, and all of a sudden you don't want to do it because you're like ashamed or embarrassed or whatnot. Rather than just accept that and move on, challenge it and ask yourself, well, why do I feel that way? Like, is this my belief, or is this a belief that somebody else put and instilled into me? Chances are 9 times out of 10, it'll be a belief that someone else instilled into you. Another thing to do to stack on top of that as well is to just ask yourself, has anybody else done what I want to do? Chances are there is someone else. There's probably a shit ton of people that have done what you want to do. So getting in the habit of questioning your own beliefs and questioning the voice in your head that tells you you can't do something. The sixth habit is to start documenting every thought and idea that you have. I started doing this a couple years ago when I started making content more consistently, because I realized that what we can create is directly influenced by what we consume, meaning the more that we consume, the more that we can create. And so these thoughts and ideas that we have begin to become even more valuable to us than just a simple thought or an idea. So get in the habit of journaling, of carrying around a booklet or carrying around literally a journal. I put everything in this, whether it's a to-do list or random thought. Create templates on Notion. I have one called Scribe Cards that I use. Just get in the habit of documenting thoughts and ideas and essentially having a second brain, because anytime it comes to time to create or reflect, or someone asks you a question, or you solved the problem but you can't remember how you solved it, having a place where all that is stored is vital for you to continue to grow and avoid relearning things that are unnecessary for you to relearn. And if you are a creator, as I'm sure many of you are watching this, it becomes much easier to ideate for content ideas and just be more creative when you have a data or a bank full of things that you have consumed and been influenced by. Number 7 is a little different. It is planned rest. And what I mean by that is actually planning time to take a break. Now, I am not a fan of hustle culture. I think hustle culture is very toxic and most of the time not good. I do agree that there should be sacrifice when it comes to doing things that are out of the norm, right? Like, you don't get what the 1% has by doing what 99% of people do, but that does not mean that you shouldn't take time for yourself and to rest. If you are always in the cycle of working and working, as I've fallen into the trap of doing, I'm sure you have too, you never give yourself time to breathe and reflect and even take advantage of what all of the hard work that you're putting in has given you. And so taking the time to maybe go easy one day, or take a night off, or give yourself a weekend detached from your phone or your computer and not looking at email will just drastically improve your life, because it will give you the opportunity to reflect, to rest, and then get excited once again to get back to work. I love what I do. It's hard for me to stop working, but when I do take a chance and take a moment to just breathe and relax, it gets me that much more excited to actually get back into the work and continue doing it even more. The 8th thing on the list is called, or what I call, taskable goal setting. Now, taskable goal setting is probably one of the most important things that you can do for yourself if as far as like business goes and personal growth goes. And what taskable goal setting is, and how I define it, is essentially taking a big goal and breaking it down into trackable metrics that can be and can have activities associated to it. So what does that mean? Let's just say you want to do $100,000 in revenue a year. That means you have to have X amount of web purchases of service or product per year, which would mean you have to have a certain amount per month, and that per month would come from a certain amount of website visits and conversions and impressions that would then lead to the website. So basically what I'm getting at is taskable goal setting means you create a goal and break it down into trackable activities, so that when you do those activities and they produce results over a certain period of time, you're able to adjust and pivot those activities to then meet the goal. I have an entire video about it. I'll link it here somewhere on the screen so you guys can watch it, and I break it down more in depth, and you can actually copy how I do it. But essentially what you need to do is create goals that are not arbitrary and have arbitrary timelines. You need to create goals that have trackable metrics and can be broken down to daily, monthly, weekly activities. The next thing, complete 180, is to have a clean space. Our space and where we work is a direct reflection of what's going on up in our heads. If our space is always messy and where we work is always messy and disorganized and always just looks like a tornado went through the room, your work-life balance and your work balance and how you even function and how productive you are going to mirror that. Like if your office is constantly a mess, your brain's gonna be constantly distracted and focused and looking around thinking, I need to clean this, I need to get rid of that. Whereas if you have a clean space, or at least a space that's optimized for you to work, you're gonna be that much more productive. Now, that doesn't mean your space needs to look like mine and be all clean and empty and black and gray. But what it does mean is you need to have a space that is optimized for you to be the most productive and gets you the most excited to actually sit down and get to work and be able to be focused. That might mean it's super colorful and has a bunch of shit going on in the background on the walls and shelves. That doesn't matter, as long as it allows you to be the most productive and optimized version of yourself. Number 10 is the 5-minute rule. And what this is it means if it takes less than 5 minutes, do it now. Now, I am a victim of not following this rule, but I try to do it as often as I can. I am someone who gets very overwhelmed with small tasks as they begin to stack up in my brain, and I have this mental to-do list that's just always nagging at me. And most of the time, the things on those lists take less than 5 minutes to do. And so having a rule where if the thing that you know you need to do, whether it's send a follow-up email, send a proposal, write a script for a video, clean your office, do whatever. If it takes less than 5 minutes, don't put it on a to-do list, just do it right then and there. Obviously, if you're in the middle of like a 4-hour deep work session and it pops in your brain, maybe wait till you're done with that session. But the idea here is avoid having a massive mental to-do list, because all that does is add stress and anxiety to probably an already busy body brain. So if it takes less than 5 minutes, do it now. The last thing, number 11, is to reduce screen time. I know that's not easy to do in this digital era that we live in. I know that for a lot of us, this phone is at the center of our business and our lives. And whether that's a good or bad thing doesn't really matter if we're using it for the wrong reasons. Sometimes we use the fact that it is at the center of our business as an excuse for it to also be a distraction and constantly be on it and waste our time on it, when in reality, it's a pretty lame excuse. And most of the time we don't need to be on this. Just because I create content on Instagram and YouTube doesn't mean I need to be scrolling for 2 hours a day. And so if there's any advice I can give you as far as your phone goes, don't go on the phone before like noon. Don't wake up and have it be the first thing you look at. Set limits. I use Opal. This isn't sponsored, but I use Opal. It's like the best screen time limiter app that I have personally found. And just limit the time that you're on your phone. Don't be on your phone in the morning. Don't be on the phone at night before you go to bed. Just limit how much you are on it. Obviously, there is intentional consumption. And I do think if you are a creator or even a business owner, it can be used as a tool for like research, but don't use the excuse of research as an excuse to just mindlessly scroll. So the less that you can be on this thing for just pointless activities and the more that you can be present, the better your life will be. That's it for my list of 11 habits to improve your life in the next 6 months. I know that's a lot of them, and I know that that's not in any particular order, and I don't think that necessarily if you do none of them, you should try all of them now. I think you should identify the ones that speak to you the most, ones that maybe struggle with. Maybe you struggle with your phone the most, and that should be the first thing you tackle. Maybe you're not very fit, and so maybe going for a walk in the morning is the one that you should tackle. But I do think that you should use the ones that you think will have the biggest improvement on your life and start doing them and introducing the others in your own timeline, in your own way, because I truly believe if you do these 11 things that your life will drastically change in the next 6 months, even if it's not by revenue for your business or how much you're making, but just personal growth. You will be a much happier and much present and just a much more present and just enjoy life much more if you are intentional with what you do every day and how you structure life. That's it for this week's video. If you guys enjoyed, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe down below. I'm getting better at remembering what to say there. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next week. The last thing is my community creator launchpad is now officially public. We are getting close to the limit of 50 members before the price jumps. If by the time you're watching this, we're probably over 40, so the spots are super limited. If that sounds at all interesting to you, it's a place where you can basically launchpad your career as a creator, learn how to make videos that look and sound like this, build a brand, grow an audience, and everything in between. If that sounds at all interesting to you, just go ahead and click the first link in the description to learn more. Again, spots are super limited. We're very close to the price jump. So if you're at all interested, now is the time to lock in your price for life. So yeah, that's it for this week's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys next Saturday. Peace.
Last but not least, last but still lethal. Last to hold the crown, cause no nigga was equal. My